And good morning, everybody. It's very nice to see you all here today. Thank you for joining us at 1MillionCups Fairfax. We have a great group today, over 25 participants. We are live. If you have not had a chance to log in and you're new to the group, please try to log into our 1MillionCups app. We want to make sure we can celebrate and share how many people have joined our group each week to support our local businesses. As we think about ways to engage, and if you want to go to the next slide, please. There are a couple of upcoming events and information. We'll have space at the end of the session to share your own as well. Please feel free to put events in the chat. I already see a few, which is awesome. These are just a few that are coming up. One is today from kme.digital. They're going to be talking about 3 strategies to increase your presence online. Then there's a webinar Friday and one next week about how do you market in these times. So again, please try to share your events or any other resources you want in the chat that can be saved by folks as well. And next slide. So 1MillionCups, again, if you are new, and we have a lot of new faces and we have a lot of returning faces, which I appreciate. We have over 160 chapters around the country. And we all meet at 9 a.m. for an hour to support the business community and give feedback to businesses every week on what are challenges they're facing. We ask business owners who are participating a couple of simple things, and this is something our group is always stellar at. Be positive, be empathetic, be supportive, right? This is a positive environment. If you have questions you want to ask, you can raise your hand through the Zoom raise your hand feature, or you can put them into chat. We have several organizers on and we'll pay attention to both. We want to make sure this is respectful and everybody has a voice. So that's our whole purpose and culture right now. Different ways to engage. So obviously you can join us every week. This is free. You can share this on Facebook. You can share the videos after we've gone live and let people know about it. Other ways you can engage: when you download the 1MillionCups app, you also get on our email list so you can know who's presenting, what's coming up, stay plugged in that way. You can, of course, also like us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, a LinkedIn group. You can also like our LinkedIn company page to stay up to date. And we are on Twitter and Instagram. And it takes a couple of us organizers to make all that happen, but do engage. And in the groups, you can also post about your events as well. This is all about bringing visibility to our community and helping businesses grow. So don't hesitate to join. Although we're not in person, we still have sponsors. We have space sponsors, and we also have coffee sponsors. So I'd love for John Yu, if you could take a minute and talk to us about Office Evolution, that would be great.
Great. Thanks, Stan. So my name is John Yu with Office Evolution. We are a co-working space provider located in Tyson's Corner. We provide fully furnished private office and a suite of virtual offices to assist small business owners while they're still currently still in pandemic times. Offer those virtual offices solutions so that they still have an office presence. What makes us different is that we are a locally owned business, and we are focused on helping small business owners and local businesses, communities to grow. This is one of the reasons why we love partnering with organizations such as 1MillionCups and other business communities to facilitate networking, collaboration, and really to be supportive of our local businesses. Beyond that, we also partner with service providers such as healthcare providers to offer our members their ability to purchase at a group discount. So we do a number of other things and just beyond just providing space. So if you want to learn more about Office Evolution, please reach out to me.
Thank you so much, John. And for our coffee sponsor, we have Reggie Holmes from Enthused Creative. I don't think he was able to join us. John, do you want to speak to Enthused Creative? And I'm happy to.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. So we want to thank Reggie Holmes being a coffee sponsor. Reggie Holmes is an owner and a creative director of Enthuse Creative LLC. Enthuse Creative provides strategic branding strategy and design services for business and organizations. We specialize in helping entrepreneurs develop a well thought out and a well executed brand identities and systems so they can make excellent first and lasting impressions. Very important. This involves products and services like brand names and taglines, logos, marketing collateral, websites, slide decks, and digital print reports. Enthuse Creative is your partner to help position and polish and promote your business brand. Please contact Reggie today for a free consultation. If anyone wants to reach out to Reggie after this meeting, also feel free to reach out to me. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, John. Reggie is a past presenter. He's a huge supporter of our group, so we appreciate you both being engaged. Just a quick reminder, try to keep your microphone on mute. I know it's tricky sometimes, but it does help things stay really crystal clear for our presenter. You can use the hand wave icon in the chat to let us know that you have a question, raise your hand. Justin Wilson will be moderating, so you'll have him help you a little bit later. He'll call on folks, keep things in order just so we can manage that carefully. When he calls out, just unmute your microphone, say your name, and then ask a question and make your comment. One of the other things I would love for folks to do if you've joined, if you'd like to share your contact info, please do so in the chat. Everyone should be able to save their chat as well. So as we type in resources for our presenter, for each other, and just how to stay in touch, that's a great thing to do. So without further ado, I'm very excited to introduce Adam Winsor. Adam, if you want to kick us off, we'll have the next 6 to 8 minutes with you sharing all about this awesome technology.
All right, thanks. Hi, I'm Adam Winsor, and I'm the creative director at Mirimantis Design. And we have a new project coming out, a new product, I guess, called Osileo Architectural Solar. And it's a new approach to solar panels, which kind of have a bad rap for being industrial, utilitarian, and basically ugly for most people. And the engineers, who my hat is off to the engineers, have been in this race for the last 20 years, or 50 years, I guess, to make solar panels cheaper and more efficient. And they've done an amazing job. But in that race, they've kind of ignored aesthetics a lot. So just to start off, a preview or a challenge question. Can you help us find a partner for a pilot installation in a high visibility outdoor space? And I'll go over that a little bit later. Oh, next slide. Sorry, I was looking at my slide deck, not the one that's on the screen. Yeah, so the front surface of a solar panel is basically made of dichroic glass and silver, which are two materials that are also used to make designer jewelry. They have great potential as objects of beauty, though almost no one has attempted to unlock that potential. To whet your appetite, here's a concept rendering of some, oh wait, go back. There we go. So this is a concept rendering of some of our solar panels. And you can soak up some sun next to them by your pool. They are supposed to be something attractive that you'd like to show off. All right, next slide. A little bit of background. We were just founded in July of last year as a proposal for the American-Made Solar Prize, which was put out by the Department of Energy. As a semifinalist, we received $50,000 in funding to develop our functional prototypes. Those prototypes were completed in February of this year. And in April, we advanced to the final round of the prize and received another $100,000 in cash and $75,000 in vouchers to use at the national labs. And so we're currently working on our second generation cell designs, and we're seeking a pilot partner for our first installation. Next slide. So we're making solar panels that are beautiful for high visibility areas. We're working on being able to provide custom designs to complement architectural site plans and design guidelines. And our panels are compatible with all the common system components like inverters, chargers, and other parts that make the system go. Next slide. So here's another 3D rendering of a possible installation. In this case, showing off a decorative screen wall that separates a landscaped courtyard from a parking structure. But besides providing that function, it also sells electricity back to the grid. Next slide. Here's one of our first generation prototypes. It was manufactured at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. They have a photovoltaic research lab there that we partnered with to do the production. So as you can see, we've improved on the monotonous parallel stripes that are common to solar cells and applied some artistic principles of symmetry, rhythm, and line to the cell's metallic front contacts. And you can see one of those cells here. It's about 6 inches square. And in a solar panel, these are put together usually 60 or 72 at a time to generate electricity. But ours can be rotated to fit into different patterns to produce attractive effects. And this pattern you see is made out of metallic silver, and it's a functional part of the cell. It collects the electrons from the silicon to send into the circuit. Next slide. So here's a small layout showing kind of that functionality. This pattern is made of just 3 of our first 3 prototype cell designs put together in different orientations to create this small scale solar panel. Next slide. So our panels can bring solar down off the roof and put it front and center. We're focusing on ground mounted and they're efficient and affordable. They can come off the same production lines as a normal solar cell, and they can be shown off as an attractive accent or even a visual centerpiece in high visibility areas, while also producing high quality energy. So we're currently targeting commercial real estate developments with high visual and environmental standards who are already budgeting for premium materials and cutting edge sustainable technologies. Think developers going for LEED Platinum. They want the cream of the crop. They want to be able to showcase their environmental standards, but also look great doing it. Okay, next. Our audiences or customers, campuses, plazas, promenades, outdoor retail, parking areas, civic buildings, parks, gardens, parkways, planned communities, luxury condos, any of these sort of high-end showcase properties, I think would be a great fit for our project. We're, basically anything that's a large outdoor, that has a large outdoor landscape component and is using premium architectural finishes, and who have decision makers who place a high value on showcasing sustainability and their luxury visual appeal. Our competitors were coming at this at a different angle than most people or most companies. The standard today for aesthetic solar panels usually means featureless, inconspicuous. They get rid of the grid, put on a black frame, a black skirt, hide the mounting, and just hope you don't notice it, basically. Next slide. Or some companies are trying to disguise solar as something it's not, whether it's a roof tile or a paving stone or some other kind of panel, trying to make it so it won't be noticed, it won't be seen. There's also a growing movement called Building Integrated Photovoltaics, or BIPV, and they often use these frameless glass panels that are incorporated into the buildings. And they're some of the nicest looking solar on the market right now. The style is all in the glass and the frames though, and the solar cells are still the standard grid with parallel lines. And I think that instead of a competition, this would be an amazing partnership because our cells would look really good in that sort of a setup. We're the only ones making solar cells like this. They're beautiful in and of themselves. They don't need any camouflage. And you can put them in places where you wouldn't want to put an ugly normal solar panel. And our cell patterns open up a whole new market segments, can be incorporated into many different applications and probably many that we haven't even thought of yet. Here's another rendering kind of up close of a panel design that's made possible by just our first 3 prototype cells. But in our current effort, we're doing many more cell designs, making coordinating design motifs. You can see here's 2 of our current prototype cells, and they fit together in different orientations to create all these different patterns. And the possibilities are pretty limitless. Here's a possible opportunity for residential solar incorporated into a south-facing wall or a fence. And you could have that solar energy without the risks and hassles inherent to rooftop installation. So we're a very young company. Right now, we've gotten $225,000 in grants and vouchers, which gives us about 6 to 12 months of runway. And right now we're seeking customers for a pilot project. Eventually we'll need outside investment to scale up our manufacturing. And we think that for less than $5 million, we could stand up a manufacturing capability to do 500 megawatts a year, which is about $25 million in revenue. And future revenue will come from providing custom solar design services, whether that's doing custom cell designs for a project or panel level designs from existing cells that we have, and selling decorative solar cells and panels to real estate developers, solar installers, and other customers. And so back to our challenge question, can you help us find a partner for a pilot installation in a high visibility outdoor space? And again, here's our ideal candidates: large developments with landscaped outdoor areas, decision makers who place high value on showcasing sustainability and visual appeal, and all those types of developments that we talked about earlier. And I guess now would be a good time to open up to questions.
Yep. Thank you, Adam, for your presentation.
Thank you.
So I'd like to open up the questions now in regular 1 Million Cups fashion to you. And I think the first person that has their hand raised is Jeff. So go ahead, Jeff.
Sorry, I take myself off mute. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
This is Jeff Under, and I am the CEO of Cumino and a past presenter here. I wanted to ask a question. What is your price point versus all the other providers out there, like Solar City, who now is owned by Tesla, I guess? But is your product a premium price, or do you come at the same price? And the second thing is this, is that I think some of the best way for you to get your product out, because I think you can help your customers provide an income stream, and that is the mall owners. So Simon Properties, I have a friend who's at Simon Properties, one of the largest mall owners in the U.S. Give me a call back. I'll put my contact information in the chat. But I was just
Okay, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I was just curious on your price points. Is your product offered at a higher price point than the rest?
So that's a good question. It would be a little bit more expensive. The manufacturing is a little more complicated, but it also depends on specifics for the project. The solar cell itself, which is this little wafer of silicon and silver. This one I'm holding is actually encased in plastic. They're about as thin and brittle as a potato chip. So our cells are very comparable in price to a normal solar cell.
Awesome.
But,
the reason why I ask
oh,
that is, and I'll do this for the recording.
uh-huh.
A lot of these mall owners, as you can imagine right now, they're
Mhm.
facing very tough financial times because they don't have tenants and they're not paying the rent.
Mhm.
This might be a way to do two things. One, you take on two challenges. One is that you improve the aesthetics of a lot of these bland mall buildings, but
Mhm.
two, you offer the mall owners an additional source of income.
Yeah.
Electricity sale. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, if they have enough, I mean, any small solar installation can offset your electricity bill, which saves you money. And if you have a big enough one to go above what your needs are, then you can actually get paid from the utility. And I'm not sure what the energy needs are for a mall, but I imagine they're pretty big. But they also have a lot of room, so I'm not sure. It's definitely something to look into. But also, I should add, while our solar cells are similar price to install, depending on the accoutrement that you put in it. If you want to put in, so most of the residential rooftop solar panels are basically the solar cells sandwiched in between two pieces of plastic with an adhesive. We're targeting for our first products to encapsulate our solar cells in glass, which is more expensive, but it's also more durable and it looks better. But there are a lot of different, add-ons. This could be a very premium finish material if you're going with tempered glass and designer offsets and mounting hardware, or it could be fairly comparable. It also depends on how custom you want to go, because the price, of course, for a particular solar cell design follows economies of scale. So bigger orders of a particular pattern are cheaper per volume. So we're going to be a little bit higher just because we can't be cranking out 100 megawatts of cells a year of the same pattern like some of the bigger players.
Thank you.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Great question, Jeff, and great answer, Adam. Next, we have Talmar Anderson with a question, and then Tony Barnett.
Adam, great presentation. Love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the thoughtfulness and the innovation of taking something and just really creating a different way of looking at a product. Super great. I did want to ask, so you mentioned campuses. At what point is an introduction strong? I know George Mason's School of Business is getting ready they're raising funds for a big project. At what point is the right time for an introduction? George Mason University, sorry, I know what I'm talking about. At what point is a good time for an introduction for you for those?
Any time. I think I forgot to mention in my presentation. So we're in the final round of the American Made Solar Prize by the Department of Energy, and which has given us our funds so far. the final, so we're one of 10 semifinalists. And in the final round,
Great job.
thank you. Thank you. In the final round, 2 of those 10 teams will get $500,000 to take their product to market. And one of the requirements for applying to that level is to have a signed agreement with a pilot partner. And so if we can, they don't have to pay for it or have it installed yet. We just have to have a signed agreement, and that makes us eligible for $500,000 in further funding. And that's the deadline is basically the end of June for that. So yeah, any introductions anyone could give us would be highly appreciated.
Okay. Again, my name is Talmar. My information's in the chat, but I will get you introduced to people that I know are involved in that project.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, so next we have Tony Barnett with a question.
Thanks, Justin. Doing a great job. Adam, awesome job today. When we talked the other day, I wanted to throw this idea at you, so I'm waiting for now. The people you want to reach typically, are being hammered all the time from people from 15 different directions by everybody who wants to sell them something, from materials to, space saving ideas, everything.
Yeah.
Have you approached where they go and actually socialize, like country clubs, swimming pools, golf clubs, places like that, where they're going to go on their free time and they're going to see your product and be curious about what it is? And if you can make arrangements to have your company name tagged with those panels in those places, because country clubs, swim clubs, facilities where people go out and do outdoor activities, in their free time, they're going to see that, and those organizations need the price break from the utilities. So you might have a good balance approaching them from that aspect of saving money, but helping you out by being an award-winning product by the federal government.
Yeah, that's a great idea. My first decent sized prototype, we got the cells finished in early February, and then I got my first solar panel finished in early March, and 2 weeks later, COVID hit, and all the and so that's kind of why we're in a bit of a rush. I had a lot of conventions and trade shows lined up that all got canceled, yeah, pools and golf courses are a little south right now too, but that's definitely a great idea of a way to head for this, and maybe things will start opening up again here soon. I could definitely approach that.
Yeah, pools and country clubs will definitely be opening up sooner rather than later, because they can probably do social distancing. I know I work with one, and we're already working on plans to open sometime early June. So, but obviously this is a project where it's not going to be installed next week. This is going to be a longer term plan where you're looking at their financial savings next year and the years beyond. Right.
Yeah, we definitely are fine with longer production schedules. It'll be our first project too, so we don't mind having a little bit extra runway for it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And next we have Rosemarie with a question.
Hi, Adam. Good morning.
Hello.
A great presentation. I love the beautiful symmetry of what you guys are doing. I know you're looking for a pilot installation partner. Are you seeking partnerships with other types of construction material companies as well?
That would be great.
So I'm thinking in terms of lead time, right? That there's a specialty glass manufacturing company where I know a few people there. I can give you the contact information. They install their high-tech glass in commercial real estate, a lot of LEED certified buildings, which kind of is complementary to what you guys are looking for. And they probably already know of cleared, permitted, ready to go installations that might be willing to be pilots for you guys.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to talk to them.
Okay. I've got my contact information in the chat, but separately, I will send you some information. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Great job, though.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. So next we have Murat with a question. Then after that, we have Jen Dalton. Murat.
Hello? Can you
Maybe
hear me?
you're on mute.
Yep, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Well, I was just putting it on the chat, but my question is, what is the efficiency? Like, you know, the solar panels don't have great efficiency when they're vertical.
Mhm.
Efficiency of it. So it kind of helps us to calculate the return on investment.
Thanks. Yeah, that's a great question. Our current first prototypes here are based on a cell architecture called PERC, PERC, and that's a fairly high quality solar cell. A standard PERC solar cell can get between 20 or 21% efficiency. Our designs introduce a little bit of inefficiency and in exchange for the aesthetic pattern, but these have come in around 18%, which is still pretty good, and compared to some of the other aesthetic panels that have printed coverings or things that block the light, it's actually, I think, does a little better. In our second generation prototypes that we're working on now, we're hoping to bring that up to maybe 19 or 20%. So it's fairly comparable to good state-of-the-art monocrystalline solar cell. And we're also hoping to be able to apply our designs to some of the newer technologies like bifacial and multi-junction cells, which could bring that up even further.
Great. I mean, a follow-up, like, is it possible that you give us a sample price at this point, or can I contact you later?
Yes, contact me later. We're still working on the prototype. We haven't entered into any agreements with the manufacturer, so we can't give exact price points yet. But we can give pretty good estimates based on the fact that our cells don't, how should I say that? Our cells come off the same production line using the same materials, so they should be comparable in price. It just depends on the size of the order, and that's basically the variable we have to account for. If we can order, 10,000 cells, that's a certain price. If we ordered 1 million of the same, that would be cheaper. So.
Awesome. All right. So next up we have Jen Dalton and then John Rittenberg.
Hi, Adam. Great job.
Thank you.
What's your capacity? So I know you're wanting to. You were just talking about not quite being able to produce yet. So what's your time frame for? Let's say you sign a partner and they order, I don't know, some large number of square feet to cover buildings. When do you think you can do delivery? Like, is it this year, next year, 2 years from now? Do you have a sense of just rough timelines?
Yes. So from the time we get, signed and funding for the project, then there'll be a certain amount of time for the design. If they want us to do a custom design, that'll take a month or two, and we'll work with them to create a design that works with their design guidelines. If they want to go with one of our existing cell design or some of our existing cell designs, then that would speed that up a little bit. But from the time of order, it'd be probably, I could safely say, within 6 months of that. We can contract to have these cells produced on existing lines before we get our own manufacturing set up. We've got a contact with a factory in Taiwan that could probably do that for us. And so I would say 6 months is pretty safe. Definitely if the project is a year out or a year and a half, then that gives us a lot of breathing room to get it finished. Because for a new project, this would probably be one of the last things to go in. So
I definitely have a few introductions to make, for sure. The other thing I would recommend if you're trying to get more visibility is consider doing a webinar on how this could be money generating, how it could help companies sort of bridge the gap and help them upgrade. I think with the Nova Chamber, with the Dulles Chamber, anybody along the 267, anybody along the toll road, there are huge buildings there that could have tons of these on the side. I might even look at data storage companies. If you look at like Raging Wire and others who, when you go out to Chantilly, they're just all gray boxes.
Right.
It's very depressing.
I agree.
But at least if there were solar panels, I would know, yay, they're doing something. So yeah, those are just a few thoughts, but I'll email you offline with actual introductions.
Okay, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. So next up, we have John Rudenberg, and then Mayosha had a question in the chat, and after that, John Foster.
Thanks, Justin. Hey, Adam, really exciting, great presentation.
Thank you.
So if I were a real estate developer and you approach me, I'd say, well, what the heck's in it for me, man? Okay, so you're telling me I'm going to spend $100 grand. I'm picking a number. I have no idea. But $100 grand. So what's my return? Cash on cash. It's a very simple equation. So if you said to me, hey, Rutenberg, you're going to make 40 grand a year for the next 10 years. I'd say, whoa, I can calculate that. So that's my first suggestion is you need a financial model before you can present to anybody that says, hey, this is what you get for your investment. The second suggestion I have is since you're already recognized at DOE, at the Department of Energy, if you can find someone there who could introduce you to someone in the Department of Interior who has responsibility for federal parks and maybe entree into state parks, where these architectural elements that are generating solar power, is very much in line with at least some of America's goals. And while everyone may not agree on that solar is the way to go or whatever, alternative power sources are critical. And leveraging your contacts at Energy to get into Interior, I would really urge you to try and do that.
Okay, that's a great idea. Can everyone still hear me? I had some camera issues there for a second. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. I thought I scared you away with the first comment. You went black.
Yeah, my nice camera died somehow, so I switched over to the washed out one.
Solar one.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much. Yeah, so that's a great comment on the financial model. Part of the financial model for our product is going to be the branding and look that you want for your building. A lot of buildings have really nice architectural panels, premium finishes and landscaping, and those things don't necessarily give any financial return other than projecting the visuals that the company wants to project. And ours are hoping to project those things very well while also returning high efficiency energy. But yeah, that's definitely part of the equation. And yeah, and thanks for the suggestion of the Interior. I would love to see these in a national park. I'm a big fan.
You just need one national park.
Yeah, yeah, and then maybe all of them. That'd be great. Yeah, I'll ask some Department of Energy people about that. Thank you.
Awesome. And next up we have Mayosha, then John Foster, and then Phyllis. Mayosha.
Sorry, I realized I was on mute. So I used to work at EPA. I'm actually an environmental scientist before I started my own child care center. So just like what John was talking about DOE, EPA has a lot of great resources. I don't know if there's a way for you to partner with them on the solar panels, because they have contractors who work with this kind of things. I mean, there is such a wealth of information in there for you. And my best bet is for you to work with LEED certified builders and architects. You know, they would be the ones to really help you get out there, because this is a great idea. And they're really looking for ways to promote businesses like yours.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, I totally agree. The LEED certified is kind of our ideal customer, especially going for the higher levels of like LEED gold or platinum, people who are really
silver.
yeah, well, yeah, sure, even silver. But you know, the gold and platinum people are the ones who are doing, you know, trying to go the extra mile on sustainability, and they're usually pretty fancy, so we like that.
Yeah, so I'll see if I can pull out some of my old connections at EPA and send them to you. But I would tell you to go for that, because there is so much out there at EPA for you.
All right, awesome, thank you.
Good question. All right, so next up, John Foster, and then Phyllis, and then I also have a question as well.
Morning, Adam. Thanks so much for the presentation. Awesome. You know, trying to combine art and art energy and solar is awesome. A question for you with regards to social media. Are you on LinkedIn?
Yes, absolutely.
You are. Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't find you, but you know.
Oh, here, I'll post it in the chat right now.
Awesome. That would be great. So yeah, I couldn't find you, so I was just curious there. And then as far as social media, are you somebody mentioned webinars, because certainly right now is a great time to, you know, continue to, you know, build brand and that sort of thing. So I thought the webinar idea was awesome.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I am we're trying to get our social media started. We're have Instagram and Twitter. I'm working on a Facebook, but I've been so up to my eyeballs in in building stuff that I've been neglecting it, and I know that's a problem a lot of people have. But hopefully gonna do a little bit more on that front later, or soon, I guess.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
And Phyllis.
Is it my turn now?
There you go. Hi, Phyllis.
Okay, hi. Thanks, Adam. That was a great presentation. One question I had is, would any of your applications qualify as public art? Because I know that some construction projects require a public art component. And so maybe in this way, if you could say it's green energy and public art, it would check a few boxes that would make you more appealing to the contractor.
That is a fantastic idea, and yes, I think this could definitely apply. Could definitely be applied in that way. You know, more design, more artistic application to it. I would love that. So that's really great. I should put that in our materials as a possibility. Thank you. Yeah, in general, I'm a huge fan of merging art and science and technology, you know, part of the reason I'm working on this project. So yeah, that would be great.
Awesome. I had a quick question as well, Adam. As somebody who is a avid birder and really likes our avian community, you know, solar panels, sometimes we, you know, in college did a whole study on solar panel desks compared to birds. Is there any, I know with colleges right now, there's a big kick for environmental to kind of reuse. Are they bird safe? Is there anything inside, like, or have you done any research into that? Maybe like a college might be interested if they are. Just thinking about that.
Oh, good question. I haven't heard of any problems with birds. I think our solar panels would be the same as any other kind of solar panel.
Gotcha.
I know I've heard of of wind turbines having some problems with birds, causing some problems for birds. But as far as solar is, I hadn't heard any problems, and I wouldn't anticipate there being a problem with that.
Awesome. Yeah, I just want to see. I know a lot of colleges will probably be interested in being environmentally friendly and it also being bird friendly. But
yeah,
looks
absolutely.
like Jen Dalton also has a question. So go ahead, Jen.
All right, I had a couple of thoughts and a question. One, I would think about which conferences that are virtual and at some point back in person that you could present at that are not energy related. I mean, you should always present there, but I would present at CSR conferences, banking conferences, especially if you can figure out the financial model and how to make this an additional revenue stream, because then you'd be the only one really speaking about this and you'd stand out more. My second thought was Virginia Tech has a Arlington campus, an innovation campus. They're really pushing green and they're building. Virginia Tech would be a great group to talk with anyways. My question would be is two parts. One, do you have an advisory committee? I know I always ask that question, but it's a really important thing. And two, are you open to VC funding?
Oh, great questions and suggestions. Yes, I do have an advisory committee. Actually, right now putting it together. My main advisor is Dr. Ben Damiani, and he's an expert in photovoltaic solar cell design. And he kind of mentored me through the production of our first prototypes and helped me do that production at UNC Charlotte. He is the chief technical officer of his own solar startup in Atlanta called Solar Inventions. And I'm also bringing on a couple of other solar people, and I'm looking for advisors in like architecture, landscape architecture, and business. But we're building that team right now.
Where are you based out of? Sorry, just real quick. I apologize for interrupting. You're here in Virginia, right?
Yeah, I'm in Herndon, so
Okay.
yeah, right next to Dulles
I would
Airport.
recommend diversifying your advisory board.
Okay.
See if you can get someone from Costco because they sell roofing right through their organization. See if you can get someone from EPA. See if you can get someone from a national or top ranked roofing business that does commercial work. See if you can get someone from a JB Smith who's building Amazon, Q2 here. For a group like for an advisory board, you want them to be people who could be strategic partners.
Okay.
I think that's really important. And so how about the VC funding side? Are you open to that?
Right. Yes, we are open to that. Right now we're focused on trying to get the non-dilutive funding from the Solar Prize in July. And hopefully if we can do that, that puts us on a better footing for the venture capitalists or the angel funding. But yeah, we'll definitely need some more outside funding to really take it off the ground, since we're hoping to do some of our own manufacturing and not just contract it out forever.
Yeah, awesome.
Awesome. So thank you everybody for your great questions, but I have to send the last question over to Tony Barnett. So take it away, Tony.
Okay, thank you. Adam, awesome job. I think you had some great ideas today. I want to reiterate on Jennings' idea about the data centers. I sent you and emailed you an article that I researched while we were discussing that I think you might find interesting about their research and efforts to try and make energy efficient buildings.
Awesome,
our wonderful co-leader in this group, Donnell Johns, was not able to join us today because of a family emergency. And as a result, I'm taking on the mantle of his duties for the final question. I have big shoes to fill, but I'll do my best. Adam, now that you've experienced this for your second time with 1 Million Cups, I want to reach out to you and ask you, how can the 1 Million Cups community help you?
I really appreciate that. And a lot of help has come so far, and I would say more of the same. If you could, point me in a direction, that'd be awesome. If you can introduce me to someone who's a decision maker in these types of areas, that would be amazing. Also, as Jen said, if you if you know someone who might want to be on an advisory board, who'd be in a strategic position in that respect, I'd also love to meet some of those people. So networking is the name of the game, I guess, for me right now. If you have some introductions, I'd love to talk. Awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Excuse me, real quick, can you also post your contacts? Did you do that?
Yeah, I posted my LinkedIn. Let's see, I'll do that again, and the website and email.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, thank you. I'll do that right now.
This was very interesting. You get a whole flood of email, so
I love it.
so watch out. All right, so as we move forward, if you want to go to the next slide, Tony. Great job, Adam. Really very cool presentation. I think your first solar panel should have 1MillionCups Fairfax, and maybe you can etch in all of our faces like in the Zoom video. So thank you for that. Very, very good job. As we look ahead, just a reminder, if you go to the next slide, if you didn't catch the events at the beginning, here are just a few events that are coming up. Please feel free to post your events in our Facebook group or our LinkedIn group. We're happy to share them and again, get you visibility. I have been grabbing screenshots of the chat for the moment, just to make sure we've got that. I'll share that. And then last but not least, if you look to the next page, our upcoming presenters. So we're making a couple of tweaks and changes, but this is generally the right schedule coming up. What I would say, we'll email out the schedule either later today or tomorrow to make sure you have the latest one. Please encourage people to apply, even if they have questions on how should they market right now? What could a pivot look like? How do they go online virtually? There were a lot of organizations yesterday at the Fairfax County of Economic Development Entrepreneurship 101. Now it can be a good time for businesses to think about launching. It depends on what their business is. So if people aren't sure, send them our way. We're happy to give feedback and brainstorm. This group is fantastic for our community. So we really, really appreciate everything that you are doing to show up each week and help business owners. It's a good creative brain break for the week, and it's inspiring to hear from businesses and what they're doing. So thank you again. You'll get a reminder again for next week. Otherwise, have a fabulous week and reach out if you need anything.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.